Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of our new podcast, which we are calling the EternalX podcast. I am Raa, and with me is Sid, who is always curious about many things, including technology, finance, videography, and a lot more. Sid is a person who is always seeking for more than what is just tangible and visible, but something deeper. Up until now, he has been the anonymous face and the driving force behind Eternal Explorer. He's always wanting to help people through their bad times. Hey Sid.
So hey, thanks Ra for that awesome introduction. Hello everyone. So I am Sid. I am the co-host of this podcast with Ra. So Ra is someone, if I have to describe him in a couple of words, then that would be a curious enthusiast. Ra is curious about so many things and so passionate about those things. Some of those are fitness, automobiles, technology, and artistic stuff like videography and photography. Although I have been running this channel, but Ra has been a constant support system for me. He has been a brutal and honest critic, always guiding me and supporting me in everything I've ever required. So yeah, we'll be your co-host for this podcast, which we are calling the EternalX podcast. Today we'll be talking about humans and our connection with technology, how the technology has been evolving and how it will evolve in the coming future.
Yep, it's gonna be all really exciting. We're gonna talk about the history and the future about technology. Technology has always been, a really close topic for both Sid and me, and probably a lot of you listening. So, Sid, a question to you then. How did you get interested in technology?
For me, technology has been like we are all the 90s kids, and it started with a personal computer. So it was when the first time a personal computer came into my house.
What was your first machine, Sid?
So my first machine was an Intel dual-core assembled PC.
Oh, nice. My very first machine, I think, was some 286 or something, Intel 80286 or something. Pretty old, like 1992 or something. Crazy.
Wow. I think the first time I used a PC that was in around 96, 97.
Yep, with Windows 98, Windows 95 and all, right?
Yes,
if you remember,
Windows 98, yes. It was really amazing.
We had to put like drivers and all, right? If you remember, even for audio, we had to put like a different driver. We had to put driver for each and every damn thing. It didn't come with the OS itself.
Right. First time I was able to run a video on my machine, it was really a great feeling for everyone in the family to be able to watch a video on the computer. That was a big thing for everyone back then.
Exactly.
I think that remained the same for the next 10 or 12 years. It remained the same way for the next 10 years, I guess. We were all running videos from CDs or DVDs. The streaming part came really later.
Right, I think the streaming part is like maybe 5 years, since 5 years or so in India at least. I think after Jio came up with those 4G free plans and all, I think that's where streaming really took a huge leap in India. Before that, it always used to be that CD shop, right, where we used to go in for the movies and all. It was never about streaming in India until 4G came along. So I think Jio helped change that.
Yeah, I remember running YouTube on my machine in 2006-07, but no one really imagined that the use would be so wide. I used to think that the best way to watch videos on my machine would be using a TV tuner, and I used to use a TV tuner for a very long time. And I often imagined that in the future my home would never have a TV. Instead, I'll be connecting TV tuner to my monitor or something, or a PC. But I was wrong, I guess. The streaming has become so great. Now the opposite thing has happened, that computing has got into our TVs. Instead of TV tuners coming into our PCs, the other way around has happened. Our PCs have
I think that's a very good point. I think that's a very fantastic point, because you're right. Like, there was something like called TV tuner, right, which we used to have a card in our desktop, and we thought that everything will be converting into, those things will also be watched on your computer and all. But I think the difference there was that was an analog technology which we were kind of plugging it into digital, right? And now it has gone completely opposite, where digital technology is now into what used to be an analog thing, like a dish, or those type of like TV tuner and all of those things. I think dish is digital, but I think TV tuner and all that we used to have, we used to get all those signals, right? And we used to tune that and all of that. So now instead of that, people are just having streaming, and it is on demand. So technologically, I think that has completely changed, right?
Yeah. So I think we are in the last few years of TV, I guess, the way it was. So I think
Right.
the current generation, maybe of our parents or grandparents, that's going to be the last generation that will be using TV the way it is. I think maybe 10 years from now, TVs would be rare, I guess, or the market would be really diminishing for TVs.
Right. I think physically the TV might
Physically,
still
TV will
exist
always
because
be there. Yes.
yeah, exactly. But the way we already are almost, at least 20-30%, I would say, that people have switched to these online services, that streaming and all of that. So very it's growing really rapidly. And now so many of the shows and services are not even there on dish, right? So if you want some type of shows, you have to have a streaming service in order to view them, rather than being able to view it on dish. And I think one more one more awesome thing there is that it's on demand, right? So you don't have to wait for their timing.
Mhm.
You can turn on your streaming device anytime and have your favorite show whenever you want. You can pause it, you can do all that. So I think all of those are really beneficial to the end user.
Yeah, exactly.
So the original question that I had kind of asked, so how did we all get interested in technology? So I mean, over there, I think personally, if you were to ask me, technology is always intriguing and always interesting, as a whole, I would say, because it kind of benefits human life, right? It's not just about the entertainment aspect of it, but even all of the medical technology and medical science, and all of the things that help us in medicine, in weather, in all
In travel and
things that
communication.
exactly. So all of those things have completely changed the way we discuss, or we talk, or we interact with each other. I mean, just think about it. I was just having a discussion a few days ago with a few friends. So never before in history have we been able to reach so many people at the same time as we are right now, right? I mean, just think about all the great kings and rulers and all of those things, right? Imagine they are giving a speech to their entire armies, right? Even those are comparatively minuscule compared to the sheer amount of audience we can have online, right? And that is crazy to think about it, that us humans are able to touch lives of so many people.
Yeah, exactly. Like a current influencer right now is having an audience more than the kings that you are talking about.
Yeah, all the kings combined,
All the kings combined,
we would
yes.
even then their audience won't be in flesh, their audience wouldn't be that large at the same time listening to them, as much as one single influencer is today, a large influencer.
And if you observe the technological change which has happened, the massive shift has been happening in the last 400 years, I guess. Up until I think 1600, there wasn't any revolutionary technological change happening. Everything was based around physical things. People were modifying the existing things, they were building the same kind of things. But if you see, it has started around 1600s that physics and science have started taking over. And from there onwards, we are having these magical technologies. Like it started with the industry, with rails, then it has now come into telephones and internet. There's
Right.
some shift has happened around 400 or 500 years back.
Right. I think you have a good point there, because if you look at the biological changes that happened into humans, whereas the products and the industrial age and all of those improvements, they have been significantly more rapid than what our biology can handle or take, or we are not built, at times I feel we are not built for so many of these newer technologies as we were before, right? And we were talking about social media and all of those things also, right? So why, for example, social media is so addictive, right? It's a completely different topic, right? It's a different podcast we could do, but essentially in this particular discussion, that is also one of the things that the people employed there can exploit, right, into humans. Like, how can we make some product or some technology completely addictive, because they can tap into the primal brain of humans, right? And they can make it such that we are hooked onto some platforms or some things like that. And I think that's where the sudden change in technology, whereas the completely slow evolutionary change of physical biology is in, a huge difference is there. And as always, like, I think with most things in this world, in this life, there's always going to be good and bad things to it, right? So technology has immensely helped us as humans to improve so many things in our world, right? And so many things that we today take for granted, like especially I would say regarding communication and medical technologies, are unbelievable. Even if you go like just 500, not even 500, I would say just
200
go
years
back
back,
100 years. Yeah, maybe even 100 years back, right, before the whole internet thing came along. And you would have told them that all of these things are capable like possible today, they just wouldn't believe. They'll think that you're talking about some random made up stuff, right? So that is crazy how much technology has improved our lives in general.
So if you see, if around 200 years back, people, they would have had this wild imagination that we should be able to see when people used to miss each other, their relatives or friends. They used to have this feeling that I should be able to see him, I should be able to talk to him. He's so far away. But
Right.
that is no more the situation. I mean, what was magic a couple of 100 years back is now the reality. So I think the way this is evolving, I think there are no limits. Tomorrow, going forward, I think everything can be possible. Teleportation and everything seems to be possible going
Yeah,
forward.
let's hope it actually goes to that. Let's hope that the 80s or the 70s 80s version of future, they used to always show these flying cars and teleportation and all the Star Trek and all of those science fiction related shows, the speed of light traveling and the space travel and all of that. Who knows, man? Right now it seems all impossible to us because we are in this frame of mind, right?
Yeah.
But maybe 100 years down the line, that will be a normal thing. That will be like, yeah, okay, I just went to Mars and back, right?
What I'm seeing a trend is that our technology is moving towards oneness, I would say. That initially it started with travel. People are now able to travel much easily. In earlier days, most of the people used to be located around their village or something, or their country or state. But now you see the traveling is really easy. That you can go from here to there. There is no limit actually. You can go anywhere in the world and there is no problem about that. So it started with travel. Then cars came along and cars have made it even easier to travel. Now I think then telephone came along and now there is internet. So internet has almost diminished the flow of thought. Like what I think I can immediately transfer it to you. Not as a thought, but at least via medium. So there seems like there is a unification happening, some kind of a oneness of thought that is happening. And this is a good thing. Initially, it was so difficult to convey anything that is happening anywhere in the world. Like there were so many problems. There are still many problems, but initially a belief system used to be situated in one place and the people there lived as if they have to live like this and everyone lives in a particular way. But as we are growing, as our thoughts are growing and we are able to communicate easily, we can see that I know what is the culture in United States and Europe and China. So if I like something about their way of living, I can easily adapt that into my life.
Exactly.
So the belief systems can change very easily. Like we are able to see that we are interchanging our beliefs and thoughts and technologies and understandings. Everything is unifying very quickly. First it started with globalization, but internet has just put it on another level, I think. And the recent pandemic...
It's on a fast lane now.
Exactly. Right. And the pandemic has just been a catalyst. I mean, it has pushed this unification, I think, 10 or 20 years forward in 2 years' time.
Oh, definitely. When people are forced to do something, when you cannot physically get out of your house, then you are forced to, think about things. And humans in general are really smart in that regard, right? We can, when we are put under pressure, when we have to do something to survive, we can do things unbelievably fast. It is crazy how one pandemic kind of, got the entire humanity, together to fight this one really bad unseeable thing, microscopic thing. And it is crazy that this is possible for us. With technology though, I always feel that there's, of course, with everything else, there's also a flip side, right? Because now with social media and the whole online only thing, I really hope it doesn't go to the point in the society where people have stopped really caring about each other physically. They've stopped actually meeting each other physically, and all they care about are the likes, how many followers they have, the social media, all of that, right? And that is not just about people's, what they want, or not meeting and all. The fake news and all of those things are also, really scary to me, right? Deep fakes or fake news, or all of those things. Because what that does is, for a society which does not actually open their eyes and looks at the reality, if it actually goes there, I hope it doesn't, but if it actually goes there, and if it becomes that your entire interface is through some phone or some AR VR headset, or something like that, where you don't look at the world with just your naked eyes, but you're looking at it through some technology or something. In that case, all of these things become even more critical, right? Because then if the fake news, or if the fake propaganda, or hate speech, or things like that, they actually then the technology kind of is in charge, not the humans, right? And I always think that once humanity, like the human aspect of something, is taken out, things really become really bad. Because everyone, it doesn't matter which religion you follow, it doesn't matter what gender you are, it doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is, it doesn't matter any of that, right? If you forget your humanness, if you forget to actually take care of people, if you forget all of that, then it becomes a really bad, really sad world, right? And I think as humanity, we have worked really hard to get to where we are today, right? We don't have wars anymore, we are comparatively peaceful, we have trade everywhere. Think about this just maybe 500,000 years ago, right? The only way to take over any other country or any other city, humanity knew how to take over, is only through war and killing and all of that, right? This is the first time when we are so peaceful, we are so good. And yet at the same time, if we don't take care right now, with both our generation, our next generation, it can become unnecessarily bad. Even after being so good, it can turn bad if we don't take care of how we use technology, how we use technology with kids, and a lot of other things.
What I think is, now where we are moving is in the race of consciousness. Right now we have the technology, and thankfully we have been really peaceful for the last 70, 80 years, I guess. Since the World War, 70 years. Since then we have been a peaceful race. Our only challenge, current greatest challenge, is the climate change. How do we deal with all these massive technological changes that are happening, and also to heal the climate? So what I'm thinking is, the change needs to be of consciousness. Like you said, that with so much power, there is a chance that we'll self-destruct ourselves if we do not have the humanity aspect of it. So that is where a rise of consciousness is going to come in. So what we are trying to do with this channel, and people like us who are trying to spread some good thoughts or some positivity around, is we are trying people not to focus on the negative aspects of life, and instead focus more on the human aspects and how we can grow. Like, we already have the tools to completely destroy everything. We have the nuclear weapons and everything, but this is the goodness of humanity that is keeping us intact. And this is the goodness of our thought systems, our upbringings, our societal thoughts, that this is keeping everything in check. And that is going to be the major role of everyone, to keep everyone good, to keep educating ourselves about the goodness of humanity, so that we do not end up using this in a wrong way, a negative way, and do not end up self-destructing, which I don't think will happen, because we are seeing a rise of an awakening of consciousness towards a greater understanding of each other. Like I said, that everything is moving towards a oneness. And the more I see happening, I see that people are now realizing that the need of kindness and compassion to help each other. So these things are the most critical ones to keep the technological balance and the human factor into it. Yeah, that's my
That's
point.
a very, very good point. So the consciousness and all of that is really, really important here.
To make people more and more aware, to keep educating everyone about no matter what, I think there is a oneness in everyone. That is going to be critical. The main challenge is going to be to take everyone out of the rat race. Currently, we think that we are competing with each other. Everyone is competing. And that is not the case. This is our thought system that is keeping us there. But as we start evolving and move towards a consciousness that's more inclusive, we're already seeing that the gender gaps are diminishing, the racial differences are diminishing. The more these differences diminish, I think the more secure we'll be, and we'll be moving towards a very harmonious world and harmonious technologies. I think the technologies of the future are going to be insane. I mean, we are going to be able to control things like weather, and we are going to harness the power of the sun. We'll be able to travel galaxies very easily. I think the basic things that we need to take care of is our oneness.
I just hope we are responsible enough, as a system, as a people. I hope we are responsible enough when we do get that much power, because that will be like godly power, right? We already have almost god-like power right now.
To keep ourselves in check, so that we do not destroy ourselves using all these tools that we have.
Exactly. So it must come together. Correct. And I think so far we have done a decently good job, right? Because
we have done a great job, actually.
Yeah, because from World War II, the whole Cold War, and everyone used to think that there will be nuclear death of everyone. But surprisingly, humankind has, come out of that. And today, no longer do we think about those things, right? Because back in the day, that was all people thought about, that any day anyone will just press the nuclear button and we all will die, right? But I think we have shown as a species that we can do better, we can be better. So
I mean, internet has been a very crucial change agent here, because the kind of inclusiveness we have right now, white people fighting for the black ones, and people fighting for the harmony of religions. I think people used to kill complete civilizations only because of differences of religion. So we are moving so much out of all that. These are really good things.
Right. And I think the oneness, the thing that you are making, the point, it's actually really a deep point, right? Because even now, of course, there's of course a long way to go before everyone comes to that understanding that killing on religion, or killing on gender, or killing on anything, any attribute, right? Any human attribute, that itself is being unhuman like, right? Because if there is always going to be people who you will disagree with regarding many things, right? But those should not be the decider when it comes to actually taking lives or being bad to people, or things like that. So there's good, there's bad, but let's hope it all goes into a really good consciousness, like oneness that you're talking about.
Yes, like we're already seeing that there is a lot of improvement in tolerance of our communities, so that is actually improving.
Yep, exactly.
To talk about the future of technologies, what do you think? Where can we go? Or what can be the future technologies that will specifically impact our existence?
So I believe, I think, like I was speaking a few minutes ago, like I am all in for all the great technologies that will come in the future. I'm all in for the whole space travel thing as well. And I've heard people say that we need to look at the humanity on planet first before thinking about other planets. But what I think is everything should go together. Like even because those space related things, they are pushing boundaries, right? They are pushing boundaries of technology, which in turn do help people on earth as well. So I think it should be all sorts of technologies, all sorts of helpful things. We all should have a better consciousness of being more fit, being nicer to each other, being more inclusive to each other. And this is not the political inclusiveness and all that stuff that I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the genuine inclusiveness. I'm not talking about it from I'm not talking about it from the political standpoint that many a times is highlighted these days. I'm not talking about that. So all of those things, I'm really psyched about technology. I'm always someone who thinks that technology does a lot of benefits to us in general, and if we do that the way we are becoming more and more environmental conscious as well, right? Overall as a generation. So if we go on improving the technology while not damaging the planet, nothing like that, man. We will be an amazing civilization, maybe 100 200 years from now. Maybe you and me won't be there to experience that, but we can sow the seeds today, right? For all the future to be good.
Yeah, because right now we have only one planet to live with.
Exactly. And even if we have, say, Mars tomorrow, I still believe that we should, because the animals are gonna be there, right? The ecology is there's a lot of things. So us being very careful about these things is very important. And I think in this podcast we will be covering about a lot of topics about humanity, technology, and all of those things.
Yeah, already we have actually covered so many things. Exactly. we started with technology to compassion to humanity.
Exactly.
We have already covered so many things. So I think this is just a glimpse of what will be coming.
Definitely. All of these topics deserve a huge deep dive. Each of these topics, subtopics have so much nuance in each of those that there's gonna be a really exciting amount, things to talk about.
Yes. So if you ask me what the future would be like, so I don't know how it will look, but where the future technology is going, I think that currently we are playing mostly in the physical domain. We are able to manipulate the physical reality in ways like we are able to play with the atoms and electrons, neutrons. But going forward, I think it's going to get even deeper. The technology of the future might be more in the quantum space. Right. We are already seeing that
that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, there is already the start of quantum physics has already started, quantum mechanics, what they're calling. So there they are saying that there is only energy, and when that energy is taking shapes, that energy is taking forms. So that is going to be very, very interesting. Once we are able to start manipulating energy like we are doing that with electrons and protons, that's going to be very interesting. I think we might be able to create matter out of energy, but I don't know how long that is. But that's going to be the eventual technology. Like when I say that we see that UFOs are coming, we don't have any proof about that. But if any significantly intelligent species is visiting us, then I don't think they are doing that on the basis of physical technology that we use. They are not using any fuels. I think they are literally appearing out of thin air. So these kind of things are going to be the future.
Right.
That we'll be able to heal our atmosphere or whatever based on energy. Einstein came very close to this, I think, when he said that from his theory of relativity. I think even Nikola Tesla has talked about this, that everything is frequency, is energy, and that energy is taking forms. So that is going to be very interesting. We have no idea how that is going to look like, but something tells me that is going to be the thing. The most interesting things are happening in the quantum realm, in quantum mechanics.
Exactly. That's going to be unimaginably exciting, and it's something that our forefathers would not have been able to imagine where we are today. I bet you we will have, not even imagined the possibilities that lie in the future. So technology is always exciting.
Right now we imagine flying cars and these things, but once this quantum reality comes into picture, I think just we might directly be able to appear anywhere or be at one place, more places than one. That is going to be interesting. I think we might ourselves become the greatest technological devices.
Could be, man. Could be. That will be
Yes.
exciting.
Without any external gadgets, maybe.
Exactly.
Let's hope that good things happen out of this technology.
Indeed, man.
I think they will happen. I think we are, like, the oneness aspect is very important to keep everything in check.
Definitely.
Or else we are capable even now to destroy everything through all that we have, but we have not done that, and we are moving towards a really inclusive world.
Exactly. I'm really, optimistic about the way the future looks.
Yes, same here, man.
All right. So, guys, that has been really good first podcast.
Yeah, it was really wonderful. I think we discussed on so many topics. We just touched them, and I think going forward we'll get into the depths of each of them.
Exactly.
I think it's really good to very, I think, curious people, and I hope a little intelligent as well.
Exactly. Let's hope we can make it worthwhile for the
Yeah.
listener.
Yeah, I think we should be able to open everyone to newer aspects of thinking and understanding. That would be very crucial.
Exactly. All right. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Yes, thank you everyone. Bye.